What's up, No Shine Gang?
Hey, bitch.
It's your girl, Unapologetically Me, and today, guys, I'm bringing y'all back into my kitchens to prepare Thanksgiving dinner. Right here, we got our jellied cranberry sauce. I'm going to get that sliced up, put in a container, and put in the refrigerator to chill until the other food gets ready. We're going to go ahead, preheat our oven to 350, and then we're going to get the eggs boiling. I want to go ahead and do my deviled eggs. So I put them in a pot, put them on the stove, let those boil. I got me a deviled egg container. It was a pleasure to use that, even though I couldn't find the lid. And also, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let my potatoes soak in water, in cold water, while I'm preparing the eggs until I get ready to cut them, because it seems to soften the peel, which helps me to peel the sweet potato even better, easier. Okay, now that the eggs are done, we're going to get that mixed up. And I got the eggs, then I put a little celery seed in it with a little salt and pepper. I use Duke's mayonnaise, a little cupful of vinaigrette, and a little sugar just to give it that sweetish citrusy taste, and a little mustard with relish. I'm sorry, guys. And then once I get all that hooked up, and once I get it all mixed up, there we go. We got them all dressed up. I don't like mine runny, so I try to have a thick consistency, and I sprinkle a little red paprika over top of it. So now what we're going to do, we've got our collard greens, and I'm just going to do... We still got those soaking, and then I got my turkey wings, smoked turkey wings to go in my collards. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and get the water in the pan and get the smoked turkey wings in there so they can be boiling. They need to boil at least about 30 to 45 minutes before you even put your greens in. So what I do is I go ahead and put those in and let those come to a boil. And in the meantime, I go ahead and, like I said, let that come to a boil. And then I go and proceed to, trim my collards. And I'll show y'all how I do that when we get over here to it. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and get the sweet potatoes prepped and put in the oven. Okay, guys, here we have our ingredients for my sweet potatoes. Like I said, I make everything simple. Just a little bit of vanilla. I just don't measure anything. I just use to my liking. Don't put too much of that, though. You don't want to overpower the taste of the sweet potato with vanilla. Then I put a little cinnamon in there. Not too much, just enough to kind of cover, get a little bit on every one of them. Not every one of them, but you know what I'm saying. But not too much cinnamon. The next thing we're going to put in there is going to be the butter. I'm kind of generous with butter and sugar. So I just put little scoops all around, like maybe, that was a little too big. Maybe about a tablespoonful. And I just dump it like sporadically over the sweet potatoes. And yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I have like a little sinus infection, I think. My throat is irritated. Yeah, so yeah, I just, ain't nothing like some butter and sugar. You're going to make sure you get a little, just a little bit in every little, not that you can't get every spot, but you know what I'm saying. And once you get all that done, and I like to put my cinnamon, and I like to put the sugar on last. Because if you put the cinnamon on top of the sugar, you're going to get something ugly. It's going to be like sugary looking, and then it's going to be like brown stuff on top of the sugar. So that's why I put the sugar on last, because the other ingredients will melt in and mix with the cinnamon to keep it from having look like it's been sprinkled with cinnamon. So now we're going to go ahead and get those in the pan, get them wrapped, covered, and put in the pan. They'll be in there by themselves, so I'm going to put them on the bottom rack because they'll be in there at least 25 to 30 minutes by themselves just cooking. Okay, guys, now what I'm doing is I'm just separating every leaf, spreading them out. I haven't washed them yet. I don't use them when they look yellow like that. Because it might make them bitter. So all I'm doing now is just going through the greens, getting the bad ones out, and setting them up for the prep. So when you do all this, you're just basically, like I said, just getting the good leaves and setting them on top of each other. It's a method to the madness. Okay, guys, normally I don't do this, but this is the way traditionally I was taught to, prepare collards. You're going to roll them into a tight roll. Make that sucker tight. And then once you get it in a roll, just like a burrito, you're going to go ahead and get your knife, and then you're going to cut it into just like strips. Like nice size strips, not really skinny, but nice size like that. And you're just going to cut that whole loaf of greens. Yes. And once they're cut, you're just going to go ahead and fluff them out. Yeah. So that's how I was taught to prepare collards. Now greens, you pick those. But yeah, then you're gonna just fluff those strips off. Then you're gonna go ahead and proceed to wash them and get them put in the pot. And then, guys, what you want to do, you want to wash your greens at least 3 or 4 times. You don't want them gritty, and that's the disaster. So make sure you thoroughly clean them, rinsing from sink to sink. At least, I do it 4 times, but at least 3 times. But I do it 4 because it's nothing worse than eating a gritty green. Okay, guys, at this point, the meat has been boiling at least 25 to 30 minutes, maybe even 40. So this is when we'll turn it down a little bit and we'll go ahead and start to get our greens put in and get those cooking. Okay, guys, now that you got the pot filled up with the greens, you got all your greens in, you're going to go ahead and cook that. Then you're going to hop on to the next thing, which is going to be making the dressing. Okay, guys, what we have here is a skillet. We got to first make some cornbread. Now, what I'm doing, I'm moving the sweet potatoes around because I know I'm getting ready to put some cornbread in. Traditional cornbread is your base to making dressing. And guys, I don't normally tell people my secret ingredient, but the secret ingredient to a good turnip succulent is butter. I learned that from a friend when I stayed with her when I used to be on drugs, and her greens were so good, and she always put butter in them. So yes, try it. You'll love it. I promise you. And now what I'm doing, I'm mixing up the cornbread mixture. I don't have any like Tupperware bowls. I used to, but they were cheap, so they kind of like got worn out. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm mixing up the bread, and then we're gonna go ahead and proceed to put that in the skillet that's in the, well, first, now we gotta wait till the butter melts, and then we're gonna take that hot butter and we're gonna pour that right over into the cornbread mixture. It just gives it a good flavor. And it also coats the pan. So once we get that butter and stuff all mixed up in the cornbread real good, you want to make sure you got it mixed in there thoroughly because it also helps to make the bread more fluffy too. And once we get that all mixed in really good, we're going to go ahead and pour the mixture right into the hot skillet, and then back into the oven it goes. Okay, guys, now what I'm doing, I'm just kind of like rearranging the oven, the stuff in the oven, because you want the heat to, circulate around the food. So I'm going to put the sweet potatoes on one side and then just turn the bread around and put that on the other side of the where the heat will be going straight up to that too. So that's what I'm doing here, making sure the heat is evenly spread. Now we're going to go ahead, guys, and get our chicken thighs prepared. Okay, so I'm cooking the whole family pack. So I got two roasting pans, aluminum roasting pans, just for the chicken. Now we're going to get it washed off. We're going to turn the oven up to 375. And the reason we're doing that is because it's going to be a lot of food in there. So we want the temperatures to stay at an even keel. Okay, guys, so go ahead and wash your chicken off thoroughly. Make sure you clean that sink before and after you clean your meat, and get that chicken just really, really thoroughly cleaned. I like to spread my skin out because I'm a skin girl. I got to have something kind of chewy. These are my ingredients, just something simple. It's just going to be onion, celery, sage, a little garlic powder, and that's pretty much it. And some seasoning. Okay, guys, and once you get that chicken clean, you want to go ahead and get it panned up. Like I said, I got two pans because I don't like them stacked, because I like that skin to get kind of crunchy. So you're going to go ahead and get them panned up really good. Get that skin wrapped around good. It'll help conceal the juices. And then after that, so once you get them all like put in a pan, you're going to go ahead and season it up. That's a little garlic salt. Then I'm just sprinkling a little of that on there, not too heavy. Then I got my little lemon pepper seasoning that I think is a plus to anything you're cooking. Then I add a little blackened seeds into it because I'm out of my Creole Tony Couture, so I'm going to use that as a substitute. That'll help it to brown really good too. After I do that, then that's when I'm going to go ahead and start to sprinkle my onion and my carrots. I mean, not my carrots, but my onion and my celery, just like all over the meat. You just, and it's going to add that flavor to it once it gets to cooking. Is what brings the celery and onion, is what really pulls that flavor out. Now we're going to go ahead and add the chicken broth. Yeah, I put that on last, and you might think it might wash the flavors away, but it won't. So you want to be kind of generous with that. And I don't pour it on the top. I pour it around the sides because I don't want to wash off all the seasonings. But yeah, you want to be a little generous with that because that's going to cook for about an hour. So you don't want it to get dried out, and you may have to end up adding a little bit more. But normally I don't, because I seal it really, really good. So be a little generous with the chicken broth. But don't forget to save some for the cornbread dressing. That is the main thing that you're going to use. And it's just about there. The edges are browning really good, but I needed to brown a little bit more on the top. I may go ahead and take that out, though. The greens are looking very good. I didn't stir it up, so you still send a little salt on top, and the butter has saturated through. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and take the bread out because it's got to be refixed. I mean, when I say that, I mean we're going to have to crumble this bread all up and dress it up again just for the dressing. Okay, guys, these are the ingredients that I use for my cornbread dressing. Now, this is where the poultry and the sage comes in. I also add celery and onion, and with the chicken broth. And then we crumble that bread up and put it in a pot. Okay, guys, once I get it crumbled up, I take a potato masher and I use this to break it on down. It's good to use. If you ain't never tried a potato masher when you're doing cornbread dressing, or when you're mashing up anything, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, ground beef, it works really well. So what I've done now, I have gotten the bread crushed up, and now I'm adding my eggs to it, and sage, I'm kind of generous with sage, but don't be too generous because you don't want to have your bread tasting just like sage, nothing but sage. And then I add my poultry seasoning. Then I'm going to add my celery and my onion. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and add, you gotta add a can of cream of chicken soup. That's gonna add the flavor, that's gonna make it fluffy. That's also gonna add to the consistency that you need for your cornbread dressing batter to be. So you're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and just put all that in there. Once you get all that mixed in, all that soup poured in, you're going to go ahead and mix it up in your batter. And it should be a good fluffy consistency. And yeah, you're going to get that mixed in. And then next thing you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and get your cream of chicken. I'm sorry, not cream of chicken, but you're going to get your chicken broth poured in to finish it off and put it in the oven. And I'm putting just a little bit more sage on there because if it don't taste like a dressing, it ain't Thanksgiving to me. So now we're going to get on over here and we're going to go ahead and top the rest of it off with the cream. Why do I want to keep calling that cream of chicken? But we're going to get that topped off with the chicken broth. And I'm usually kind of generous with that because it's going to bake in the oven. It has to recook again to cornbread consistency. And yeah, that's it. So we're going to get this mixed up and we're going to get that in the oven. And we're on to the next thing, which is the macaroni and cheese. So now we're going to go ahead and get this dressing poured in the pan. I've already made room in the oven for it. We're going to get it poured over into the aluminum bacon roasting pan, and we're gonna get that put into the oven. And of course, y'all know I'm gonna get the rest of it out. I'm not finna just throw that away. So we're gonna get this all put in here, and then we're gonna put it in the oven and get started on the macaroni and cheese. Okay, guys, I make everything very simple. You can still cook simple and it still tastes good. These are the only things I put in my macaroni and cheese, period. Nothing else. 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. Maybe 6 because there's a little salt. But yeah, it's very simple. You get the water boiling, you get the pasta in there. Once the pasta is ready, you go ahead and I'm gonna make sure it's done though. But once it gets ready, you're gonna go ahead and drain it. Start to add your butter, your salt, your pepper. And once you get through with that, you're gonna mix that all in. And after you mix all those ingredients in, you're gonna go ahead and put your milk in. But I like for my butter I really like for my butter to be melted before I add my milk. Then I add my milk in, and once I add the milk in, this is when I go ahead and start to cut up my cheese. And I like to have my milk so it won't be dry. I put it just right above the pasta line. I don't really make it to the pasta line, like right there. That's kind of iffy. So I'm just going to add just a little bit more. And this is where I like my milk to be. So I'm going to pour just a little bit more on here because I feel like it's not up high enough. So I'm just going to put just a little bit more I like it right there. That's where I like my milk to look. And it never goes wrong. It's never dry. Okay, guys, then I go ahead and I cut up more than a half a block of Velveeta because I really like cheese. So I like mine cheesy. So I cut up just a little bit over a half a block of Velveeta cheese to go in there. If I said cheddar, I meant Velveeta. I cut up just a little bit over half a block and I put that in and I let that melt. And while the cheese is melting, the Velveeta, I go ahead and cut up a half a block of my Cabot cheddar cheese. You can't go wrong with that. That's one of my favorite cheeses to use. I use Kraft if I don't have it, but if I can afford it, I'll get Cabot. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get that shredded up. And once we get that shredded up, the Cabot cheese, we're gonna cover our macaroni and cheese, and we're gonna put that in the oven. And dinner is, waiting to just get done and to be served. And then we're going to go ahead and pop that sucker in the oven with the rest of the food. And when everything is done, we are going to parlay on a quick and easy, very simple, but very good Thanksgiving dinner. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you'll know every time your girl drops a new video. And with all that being said, you guys know that I love you. There is nothing else I can say. That is the highest compliment that anyone could give you.
And that's on a period.
If you have not yet subscribed and you're watching this, we ain't mad at you. But what you waiting on? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you know every time I post a new video. And with all that being said, guys, goodbye.